Chair Bliss and Co-Chair Shang. I come to you before today not only as State Representative Cha, but as a refugee from the secret war of Laos and the son of an SGU soldier who served in the secret war of Laos from 1961 to 1975. Sorry, it's a bit emotional thinking about my father who is not with me today. To understand the special designation of the SGU American soldiers, you have to understand the importance of their role, involvement in the Vietnam-era conflicts in Laos, known as the Secret War of Laos. The Geneva Accord declared Laos as a free and neutral state, which meant American armed forces could not occupy Laos to fend off the communist advancement in Southeast Asia. This led to the recruitment of non-citizen Laos hill tribe groups such as the Hmongs in Laos. Over 30,000 young Hmong men died serving to protect American interests and Lima sites, which hosted radars and airfields. You may have heard of Air America and the Ravens. These were U.S. Air Force pilots, known also as forward air controllers. Many SGU soldiers died rescuing down American pilots that were shot down. It is known to be fact that for every pilot that was shot down, 100 Hmong soldiers died rescuing that American downed pilot. So many men died in this war that child soldiers were recruited. And if I may ask Mr. Sainu to stand up, as he was 13 years old when he was recruited, if he is here today. Sainu Shao. And he was 14, that gentleman right there. At the end of the war, there were 728 dead Americans unclassified in Laos. Over 30,000 dead Hmong soldiers, and many that were not accounted for. Hundreds and thousands of refugees had to be resettled. Now, of those 100,000 Hmong Americans in Minnesota, 100% of us are here because of that war. And of the 9 state legislators that is here at the Capitol, 5 of us are refugees, where the other 4 are first generation from refugee families. This bill is to restore the honor and the dignities of these heroes and of this community that has given so much, not only to the state of Minnesota, but to the United States of America. To honor them is to bring them from the shadow into the light, to give them self-dignity, pride for those that are left. And there are less than a couple hundred when there was thousands. I am going to yield the rest of my time to Representative Her. Thank you.
Welcome to the committee, Chair Her. Please state your name for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Chair Zhang and Chair Bliss. My name is Kali Her. I'm state representative here as well, and thank you for giving me a couple of minutes to speak. I think that the bulk of today's time will be best served hearing from our testifiers. I will just say real quick that I wanted to first say thank you to all of the members who signed on to this bill. This has been an extremely bipartisan bill, and I appreciate that as people signed on, they signed on to the spirit of the bill. And Chair Bliss and I thank you so much for having an opportunity to have a conversation with us. I want this committee to know that we are committed to continue to work on this language. I just wanted to address a couple of really quick things for this committee around some of the issues that have been brought up about this particular bill. And what I do want to start with is that we have a meeting with the Deputy Commissioner that should be coming up to work out the language. We already narrowed the scope of the bill from originally impacting the approximately 900 soldiers, but also their spouses and their dependents. We've actually, because this is just our objective is to honor the SGU veterans, we were able to bring down that fiscal note to something that the department could absorb, which meant that it is just recognition, as you see here in the A4 amendment, which should have limited costs, and it no longer includes any benefits to the dependents or to spouses of the SGU veterans. And also, I know that Chair Bliss will be talking to his DE, but there are components of that are actually really good, and that we will be working with the department on incorporating some of those pieces into it. And we just do ask that that our committee members and our body here have patience as we work through this, because this is a critical issue. This is the 50th year of the Hmong resettlement here in Minnesota, and so we want to get this right. And what we rarely, I think that a lot of times there's argument as to who should have honors and who should not. And I just want to reiterate for this committee that the Hmong are special, and not just because I am Hmong, but because of the fact of that they were recruited specifically to fight on behalf of the United States. There are many allies of wars that America has engaged in, and those allies are often fighting for their own country. So when the Lao were recruited, they were fighting for their country, which is Laos. When we are in Afghanistan, the soldiers who were, the resistance fighters there were fighting for their country. The Hmong did not have a country. We were specifically recruited to fight this war on behalf of the United States. I have asked the department to look through the history of America to find out if there's ever been any other group that has been specifically recruited to fight on behalf of America, and I am still awaiting that information. But from what we understand, and you'll hear from Director Lee Ba-xiong today, that the Hmong situation is very unique, which is why we are asking for this particular designation. And so we ask that just you listen to the testimony today and keep an open mind and open heart. We appreciate all of the support that we've received thus far, and so I will yield the rest of the time to our members. Thank you, Chair Zhang.
Thank you, Chair Her. On your first testifier is Dr. Lee Ba-xiong from the Center for Hmong Studies. You want to do E or you want me to testify? Okay. Welcome to the committee, Dr. Lee Ba-xiong. Please state your name for the record, and you may proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Lee Ba-xiong, and I am the director of the Center for Hmong Studies at Concordia University, St. Paul. I'm also the co-chair of the Hmong Committee 100, a 501c4 organization which advances bill working with the veterans. Thank you for hearing this bill. I stand before you as the son of a Hmong Special Guerrilla Unit, or known as SGU veterans. My father, like many others, was recruited when he was only 17 years of age to fight in a war not his own. Years before, his older brother, a member of the legendary Battalion 1, had answered the call only to perish in defense of Americans' interests in Laos. His wife and 2 children also died from chemical used by the communists to poison the water. My father's story is one of extraordinary sacrifices. He was sent twice to Thailand for specialized training, becoming a master of paratrooping and heavy artillery, wielding weapons like the 105 and 155 howitzer. He fought in almost every major battles, from the height of Pati, a U.S. Air Force radar installation in northern part of Laos, which got overrun by Vietnamese commandos in 1968, to the valley of Long Chang, the CIA and General Pao's headquarters in Laos. At Bolong or Lima Site 32, the thunder of his gun silenced his ear, a permanent scar to his service. Today, he battles skin cancer, a cruel reminder of the gunpowder that saturated his body. Next month, he faces his 5th surgery to remove more cancer mold. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, my father is here in the audience, along with few of the remaining SCU. I'd like them to stand up. Okay, let us be clear about the context of my father and the SCU's sacrifices. The Geneva Conference. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Let's be clear about the context of my father and the SCU's sacrifices. The Geneva Accord of 1954, 61, and 62 meant to ensure Laos' neutrality, but the United States and North Vietnam, driven by the Cold War strategy, bypassed these agreements, choosing to wage a war through the Hmong and other Lao SGUs. They were recruited, funded, trained, and paid directly by the CIA to serve as surrogate soldiers of the United States Armed Forces in Laos. paying unimaginable prices. Over 30,000 Hmong SEU died in the war, and another 50,000 perished fleeing persecution by the communists after 1975. CIA Director William Colby acknowledged that without the Hmong codes, 50,000 more American names might grace the Vietnam Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. From 1962 to 1975, these Hmong soldiers held back 70,000 North Vietnamese troops, preventing them from overwhelming American forces in South Vietnam. Mr. Chair and members of the committee, fewer than 1,000 of these heroes remain in Minnesota. Their numbers are dwindling, their stories fading. We have a moral obligations to honor these services, to acknowledge the sacrifices they made for a country that was not their own. I implore you, please support this bill, and let's not allow these aging Hmong and Lao SEU veterans' legacy to be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee Paul-Seong. Next is Mr. Ya Lee. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record, and you may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the Veterans Affairs Committees. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Ya Lee, Y-A-L-E-E. I was one of the 37 Hmong pilots trained by the United States Air Force with the full support of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency during the Second War in Laos. We flew T-28 Trojans, the World War II era fighter plane, conducting numerous bombing missions as part of a Hmong Special Guerrilla Unit to combat the Pathet Lao and the North Vietnamese forces. Why I'm here? To show you who I work for. I'm wearing 1972 flying suit I brought from Laos with me. On my right, you can see the emblem, Date 1, 56 Special Operation Wing, which was an American unit stationed in Udon Thani in Thailand. I brought a photo of my Air Force American instructor pilot and me. I brought a certificate of U.S. flying certificate that was signed by U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel John Alderson. I also brought my certificate, personally signed and presented to me by U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff, General Norton Schwartz from Pentagon, Washington, D.C. Additionally, Hmong History Pilots is honored in the National Museum in the U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. I'm here to testify in strong support the SGU Bill, House File 1845, a bill that seeks to formally recognize the service and sacrifice of Hmong veterans. Under the code name Water Pump, the Hmong people pay heavy price for our role on the ground and in the air to support U.S. military operation in Southeast Asia. Many Hmong soldiers and pilots perished during this war. And the worst part was when the U.S. withdrew from the Vietnam War. In that aftermath, the war didn't end for the Hmong people because the communist forces relentless hunted, tortured, and killed Hmong people. Many SGU who are sought refuge in the U.S. are blacklisted to enter our home countries. Hmong face this issue because of Hmong loyalty and in the past services to America. Despite our vital contribution, we Hmong veterans have never been granted a full recognition we deserve. We carry not only the scar of battle, but the burden of being forgotten. Even Laos and Thailand call Hmong people stateless people. Today, you have the power to change the bill into law, into policy. Passing this bill, it is not just a symbolic act. It is a profound acknowledgement of our place in U.S. history. It sends a clear message that these are those who fight for this nation, including our children and your children, will never be overlooked. This bill is a crucial step toward justice and a meaningful way to educate the future generation about the sacrifices made to secure our nation's freedom. The tip of your pen, Madam and Sir, can change the life of a Hmong veteran for a lifetime. Especially 50 years anniversary is coming up since we depart from Laos. Thank you for your time and consideration, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Next is Ban Sanvan. Welcome to the committee. Please state your name for the record, and you may proceed with your testimony.
Good job. Thank you. Co-Chair Brice, Co-Chair Xiong, member of the hearing committee. My name is former Lieutenant Sang Wang. I served in the CIA recruit foot soldier in the Secret War from 1969 to 1975. Currently, I am the Executive Director of the Special Guerrilla Unit, Veteran and Family of USA organization. I am here today to provide brief overview of the military structure of the Secret War in Laos, which was a critical part of the Vietnam War. During the war, the SU were recruited and operate under the CIA guidance and were stationed throughout different military regions in Laos. The CIA organized our SU force into Group Mobile, GM, units. Each consists of approximately 2,500 to 3,000 military personnel. Each GM unit worked closely with the CIA case officer and an interpreter. Each GM unit worker daily coordinate and get intelligence. We play a crucial role in collecting enemy's movement report, field intelligence, and casualty members, which were then relayed to our superiors officers. High-ranking CIA officers frequently visited our units, inspect military operation alongside General Vang Pao. When the Secret War ended in 1975, the Communist North Vietnamese Army and Pathet Lao soldiers targeted and persecuted former HU soldiers like myself. Facing imminent danger, I had no choice but to flee my homeland and seek refuge in the United States. In 2000, Congress recognized our contribution by passing H.R. 371, the Hmong Naturalization Act, which provides an expedited path to U.S. citizenship for HU veterans and their spouse. Additionally, our service was acknowledged through a memorial plaque and a dedicated tree in Arlington National Cemetery. In 2018, President Trump further honored our sacrifice by signing a legislation granting burial right for the Hmong HU veterans in U.S. national cemeteries. Today, I stand before you to request your support and approval of HF 1845. This bill is deeply personal to our surviving SU veteran and their spouse. We fought alongside the United States because we believe in its mission to defend freedom, democracy in Laos and surrounding the country in Southeast Asia. I urge you to recognize our service and honor our sacrifice by voting yes on this bill. Thank you very much. My bio and the full report is on the white pamphlet that my wife distributed. I do not know that is enough for you. If someone need to have one, we, the SU, is be glad to provide you a copy that written by James W. Lair and General Wang Pao. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is the Honorable Colonel Yi Hang. Welcome to committee. Colonel, please state your name for the record, and you may proceed.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to the committee, Colonel.
Good morning. My name is Yi Hang. Committee Co-Chair is Bliss, Co-Chair Xiong, distinguished members of the Veterans and Military Affairs Division Committee. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share our story. Also, thank you for all you do to support our veterans. And to all the veterans here and online, thank you for your service. My name is Yi Hang. I am American and a proud graduate at West Point and a retired U.S. Army Colonel. But above all, I am the son of a Hmong Special Guerrilla Unit soldier, Major Wang Chu Hung. Today, I am honored and privileged to wear this uniform once again, to honor the sacrifices of my father and the countless brave men who stood alongside him. Please note for the record that my testimony does not reflect the official stance of the United States Army or the U.S. government. This bill before you is a hard ask, but it is also a just and honorable one. Minnesota has already taken meaningful steps to recognize the veterans of the Secret War through the Lao Veteran, Allied Veteran license plate, and the designation of May 14th as Hmong Special Guerrilla Units Remembrance Day. These are commendable acts, but they are only the beginning. Today, we ask you and the state of Minnesota to take the next step and go a little further, to grant these warriors and the recognition they have long deserved. People often thank me for my service, but my 27 years in uniform pale in comparison to the sacrifices of men like my father. At just 16 years old, he was recruited to fight a war on behalf of a country he had never known. For 14 long years, he battled and bled alongside his brothers in arms. And what was his reward? No formal recognition, no title, just a simple license plate, which he cherishes with pride and a state holiday. Yet he and others like him do not harbor bitterness. They lost their homeland, they lost their loved ones, they fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs. And yet they carry themselves with dignity and honor because they know that their sacrifices mattered. They fought for freedom, for democracy, and for a cause greater than themselves. These men, these giants, my elders, inspire a new generation, including myself, to follow in their footsteps. Many of us continue to serve our great nation, and some have even paid the ultimate sacrifice. Others have built new lives here, contributing to our communities in profound and meaningful ways. This bill is not just about honoring the past. It is about doing what is right before it is too late. Time is running out. The few remaining warriors are in their twilight years. Passing this bill will finally grant them the title they have earned, the title of veteran. It will not erase their hardships, but it will ensure that their sacrifices are acknowledged, respected, and never forgotten. This is more than just a legislation. This is an act of justice. It is a recognition of duty, honor, and sacrifice, and it is long overdue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Colonel Yi Hang. Next is Jean Lee. We have a few more bills, so if you could keep your, thank you. Welcome to committee. Please state your name for the record and proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair, honorable legislators, members of the committee, I'm Jean Lee, President and Executive Director of Children's Hope International, which does legal advocacy and public policy. Our family centers are our shelters in housing and services. R&R was named after the R&R, military R&R from Hawaii, which is where I was from. I come from a family of veterans who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces since World War I, World War II, and beyond. And I want to thank all you legislators for supporting America's promise to veterans that have been long overdue for over 50 years. This legislation honors veterans who fought for America, our democracy, our people, and saved thousands of lives of those who were overseas. And many of us are alive because of the lives that they had saved. So I want to thank all you veterans for your service, if you haven't been thanked yet. There have been many state and federal officials, former legislators, veterans who have passed away, and others who have supported these efforts over the years. So we want to thank the authors and co-authors for continuing the efforts. And I wish there was some way to posthumously honor the veterans who have passed away, who could have benefited from this legislation. But I want to thank you again for your commitment to America's promise.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Chair Bliss, I know that you have a DE1 amendment, so if we could move that before we go to member discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'd like to move the DE1, please.
If you want to discuss your explain your DE1.
Yes, I would. So first off, it's an honor to be in a room with so many heroes. And I thank you so much for your service to the country. One of the things, on a lighter note, you might have noticed I leaned over and spoke to my associate here and kind of chuckled a little bit. And it was not a disrespectful chuckle. It was, I wish I could still fit in my uniform. Trust me, it ain't there anymore. Anyway, Reps Chair and Cha, or her and Cha, thank you very much for bringing this forward. You brought it to me on the floor. I read through it. I had some issues, and we talked about them, and I wrote a little note there that I would support it if we did this. When I signed on to it, we had a whole bunch of guys signing on to it after me. And I think it's very important that we do recognize the SGUs. We just have to do it in a thoughtful and measured way. And I really think that your willingness to work with me, I think, is important. My DE amendment would strip everything except for the task force, and it would require several people in the task force. I know we talked about it. There's a couple of them that were technically didn't exist ever, and we'll fix that and maybe add a few more. Okay. But this is going to be laid over, and I don't, I want to keep working with you on it, and I think it's important. So I am going to pull this amendment, and again, it was just a task force to come to work with all involved parties, to come back to the legislature and give us a recommendation as to how to proceed. That's what my amendment is, and I look forward to working with you on that going forward. So thank you again, and thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you, Chair Bliss.
And I do withdraw my amendment.
Chair Bliss withdraws the DE1 amendment as amended. For any discussions from members? Seeing none, Representative Price.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to thank you, Representative Cha, and Representative Her for bringing this legislation, and thank everyone for their service who joined us today. This was a really powerful presentation, and my undergraduate was focused on Southeast Asian studies, and I feel like I learned a lot today, so bad job, University of Madison, or Wisconsin-Madison. But anyway, just wanted to say thank you so much for this important legislation.
Representative Raybrower.
I just want to take a minute to say thank you to each and every one of you for coming here today. Thank you to each and every one of you for the service that you gave. You need to be honored. You should be honored. We appreciate you. The Hmong people in Laos fought on behalf of the U.S. We need to honor this. Other countries did not have recruits fighting as proxy. You fought as Americans on our behalf. And now over 30,000 passed away, over 10,000 came here to Minnesota, and only 900 are left. It's past time. This must happen. And just thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Representative Rivera. Representative Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I too want to say thank you to all the veterans behind me here for your service, for your sacrifices, for what you did for our country, your country now. And thank you for that. And I want to thank Representative Cha for taking the time to meet with me, go through the history, and explain to me the great sacrifices that the Hmong people made during the Vietnam War on behalf of this country, and they deserve that recognition. So thank you for that, Representative Cha, and everybody behind this bill. Appreciate it.
Any further discussion? Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to forgive me if I'm speaking my native language. Good sound. Ocho me, yoku tu choga me chen kai me lo shi ha nu no to tu no. Gu chen yun jong gu ye mi yo mong. Gu ji ya ito gu tu jam me bao gu ji hun bo wan xiong. Gu ji gu tao ju me or gu tu cho ha lo te han cho lu shi han da. Nu no gu jong sha han ta represent yi tin chang ha. Gao le van ho tu all ling chỉnh to present trang channel le ban cha be ya ko tu cho na and me cha nyo sha be ma le or nun ju go to Republican co-chair Representative Matt Bliss no ha be choling to tu no ban o go trang channel mo thank you so much Representative Cha and Representative Her, Colonel Yiling Han, Dr. Li Paxiong, Mr. Yali, Mr. Ban Sanvang for your testimony today. I just shared with community members that I am a son of a veteran who served, and I am also a son of refugee immigrant parents to this country, and as the chair of this committee, as a son of a veteran and grandson of a veteran who served during the Secret War, I'm very proud to be here today to hear the testimonies and be part of this legislation. And so I look forward to working with you, Chair Bliss, and members of the committee to see this bill moving forward. Final remarks, Chair Cha and Representative Her.
Yes, I want to acknowledge the 35 authors that signed on to this bill, but I want to speak a little bit to my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Each and every one of you that signed on this bill, all of you, of the 35 signatures, 25 came from your party. And the conversations that we had on the floor in your private offices, I really appreciate the time that you made to listen to my story and to give me the honor to represent your signatures on this bill, that we may work in a bipartisanship to honor those that deserve it. So thank you, Chair Bliss.
Representative Her.
Thank you, Chair Zhang and Chair Bliss, for giving this bill a hearing today. Our Hmong people are a humble people, and I want to just emphasize that. I know Colonel Yihang spoke today, but he is actually our first Hmong graduate of West Point and our first Hmong colonel, and he is very humble about his own history, but this is how our Hmong people operate, which is why you have all of these SGU soldiers who, despite what they've been through, they love this country and they love what it represents and why they fought for this country. And so I don't want that that point to be missed. I want to also share that our pilot, Yali, showed you his documentation of his proof of his service. But I will say that most of our SGU veterans do not have any documentation. As Dr. Li Ba and I spoke, he said that there were days after the fall of Vietnam that they spent, my father worked at the U.S. Embassy as well, that they spent days burning documents to show that America was never present there. And so I share Chair Bliss's sentiment that we must be thoughtful in this process, and we agree with that, but I want us to have faith in the fact that Minnesota would not be the first to honor our veterans. As stated before, Ohio and Wisconsin have already done this, so despite the lack of documentation, despite the efforts we've made at the federal level, and many ways in which we've worked with our federal representation to find the documentation to be able to classify our SGUs as veterans, that I think that the will of Minnesotans and the spirit of who we are, that we will find a way forward. And I want to assure all of our members that we have meetings planned with Deputy Commissioner of MDVA to work through the language. Chair Bliss, your DE, I suspect that much of that will actually be included in the task force with just a few tweaks, but I just appreciate the work of this entire committee and the support from everyone, and we are also committed to ensuring that the language works and it is thoughtful. So thank you, committee members, for hearing the bill today.
I will renew my motion, House File 1845, as amended, be laid over. Thank you, Chair Cha and Chair Vane. Heard. Next is House File 1511, Representative Clardy.